Should I remove this scrunchie? Is it too much? I've got a scrunchie on my microphone.
It's cute. Was that? I wasn't sure if that was placed on purpose or for convenience.
You know, it's a little of both. It's mostly convenience, though. Sometimes my hair. I actually went and got my hair cut today. I got a haircut. That is one of the few things that I have afforded myself during quarantine is to continue to get my hair cut. And he also styled it a little bit for me today.
Yeah,
so
nice.
This is as good as it's going to look. It's all downhill from here. It's all downhill. I am loving. Is this a shiny, is this your Popstar top?
Yes, it's Popstar.
So listeners, if you're not watching us on the vidcast, which, if you would like to, you can watch us on our vidcast on Critical Crop Top's YouTube channel. Sarah is wearing a gold sparkly top.
Silver.
It's silver. It looks gold from here, but it's okay. It's silver. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Sarah, when we are all vaxxed up, we need to take you out in that top.
I need to go out in something.
I know. I will go out in a potato sack. I don't care. But I mean, I might as well next to you in that top. I mean, you just look amazing.
I'm going to Florida next week, and I packed all of the clothes I bought in quarantine at this time last year that I haven't gotten to wear.
That's so good, though. That's so great because now you get to it'll be. Please tell me that there will be a montage where you try everything on.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, right? You got to have that montage, I think.
For sure.
As I sip thoughtfully for my drink, welcome to the Adam and Andy podcast, everyone. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And we are just hanging on by a thread at the end of quarantine here. Just really...
by a thread.
We have clothes we want to wear. We have things we want to do, and we're just waiting to get all vaxxed up.
People we want to kiss.
Can I make out with you? I know that you're taken and I'm taken, but I want to make out with you just to express how much.
I think we've earned it.
We have earned it. I am going to make out with you. Now, I believe we made plans on the last show to hang out. So remind me again, when is your next shot?
My
your last shot
is tomorrow, April 9th.
Oh my God, tomorrow! I'm going to be the last one. My husband got his shot today. My sister got hers yesterday. My brother-in-law got his last week. Mine's not until the 15th next week.
Yeah,
I'm going to be the last one.
My parents, actually, yeah. So everyone in my family is also on the 15th, except for me, because I got Pfizer and they got Moderna.
So you've got a mixed vaccine household.
Yes, mixed vaccine.
Listeners, today we're going to be talking about Popstar. Never stop, never stopping. I'm super proud of us for being able to say the title of that movie finally.
Yes.
It only took us, I don't know, how long have we been doing this show? It hasn't been a year yet, right?
Not yet.
Did we start in September?
August?
I'll go back and look. But not quite a year. It took us that long to be able to say this film properly. But we've been wanting to see this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the wheel was really withholding. And I'm super fucking psyched to talk about this movie. Yeah. I am psyched about it. Before we do you want to get into some Adam and Andy news?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to start with Adam this week because we started with Andy last week. So Adam still shooting Gucci.
Okay.
New pictures coming out. There were some pictures of the wedding today, which I tried to shield.
Gucci wedding?
Yes, I tried to shield my
eyes. You didn't send me any of them.
I can if you want me to. At first, I was I can't look because I was suddenly I was oh, I want to save that for the movie. I want to save it, but I couldn't help myself. So if you want, I'll send them to you.
Yeah,
I mean,
see them.
They look as beautiful as you might expect. It's
is she wearing
criminal how hot they look
Gucci?
In this movie. I don't know. I guess
Gucci gown.
The costume department needs to get some kind of award for this movie already. I can tell you.
Yeah.
So they're still filming the Gucci movie. So a couple things that I learned about the movie and a little bit more about Maurizio Gucci himself.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last episode, I erroneously said that he was a womanizer, or I thought that he might be. it turns out that is not true. Although his family, the men in his family are famously, they are known for being the womanizer types. Apparently, Maurizio himself does not fit into that category. So there is a book out there, of course, called House of Gucci, which the film is, I think, based on. And people have been posting like snippets of the book. So just a couple things that I learned about the book. I'm trying not to learn too much because I do want to like be surprised about some things. But basically, the whole book is I kind of, I don't know. I might read the book before though. I feel like I might be wanting to read the book before. But in any case, interesting fact. No, so I don't know if this is still the case, but at the time of his death, no woman was allowed to be the head of the Gucci company. So the
I'm
eldest,
sorry, is there like a rule that they've set?
Apparently, so Maurizio's eldest child was his daughter, and she saved the company, but was not allowed to be the head of the company, I guess, in his death. So that was interesting. And interesting in a way that makes me ball my fist up real tight.
Yeah.
But yes, he was apparently not the womanizing type.
So why did she
he was kind of shy. I don't know, because I refused to read that part. I assume, well, they were divorced, so it's possible that this was a money issue. I'm not really sure. But he fell in love with her real hard. Didn't date a lot of women. I think he was shy, reserved, introverted, lonely, and kind of a nerd. So that's the kind of guy he was when he met.
And
her.
is he the designer?
I think his family owned the company, so it was like passed on to him.
Okay. So he was not.
She seems to be painted as more
Gucci.
I mean, he is a Gucci of Gucci.
Well, what I mean is he's not like the designer that the company is named after.
That's, I mean, I guess. I don't know who does, I'll be honest, I'm not really sure who does the designing. Maybe he does. I don't know. I didn't read that far into it. I'm sure that this is all laid out in the book, but I mean, multiple generations of men have owned this company before him. So
I wonder how old it is.
In fact, I think his father and his brothers were all like running the company. Anyway, also learned that the movie is supposedly going to be narrated by Lady Gaga from the point of view of Patrizia Gucci, because I think, yeah. So people have mixed feelings about that. Oh, also, there's a puppet in the Annette movie that is like sidebar nation. But I remember hearing that there's a puppet in the IMDb credits, and people were like, this movie is going to be terrible. And I'm like, I don't know why I heard about the puppet, and I was like, yes, let's make it as weird as possible. That was like my first thought. But anyway, so those are some things I learned about Gucci, and then like a surprise fact that I just flew out of my mouth about the Annette film, which we still haven't seen the trailer of.
Yeah. Want to see them.
Yeah, I'm excited. Sarah and I are both hoping that in November, when the House of Gucci comes out, that the two of us will actually go to a theater with our masks on. I have not been to a movie theater in over a year.
Nope.
So I'm looking. I don't even know what the last movie I saw was in the theater. Probably was with you. It might have been Star Wars, to be honest. I did see that film a bunch of times. But I don't know what the last movie was that I saw in a theater. Okay, so moving on to Andy. Not a whole lot of new stuff here. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is currently filming. So I haven't seen a lot of pictures of Andy, but I have seen behind the scenes photos. So they're for sure back up again and filming. I did find this fun little article that was about Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti talking about how they would love, or how they would be interested in revisiting their characters from Palm Springs in a sequel. Now, that doesn't mean there's a sequel in development. It's just something they been talking about. And I think Andy said, what did he say? I'm looking for the quote here. He said, it could be marital bliss or it could be sort of a WandaVision situation. You're just not exactly sure where they're at. So I thought that was really cute.
Nice.
And basically he was like, I would do it. If there was a great script, I would do it. And so would Kristen. And also he also joked and said that they joked on set about doing like a before sunrise, like a Richard Linklater before sunrise kind of situation, where they come back and visit them like 3 different times in their lives, and they're like in some other kind of situation. So he's like, maybe in 10 years we'll check in and see what happened to them. I don't know. I'd be into it. Would you?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love it if there was some more time. Like maybe it didn't get completely resolved and they're still like trying to figure out, obviously they would have to age, I guess. So something would have happened.
Maybe they went to the wrong place.
Or maybe they went to the wrong place. Maybe they find themselves in some kind of other sci-fi situation.
Or maybe they're in the next day in a loop.
No. Like they're the only ones aging, but no one else is.
No, I mean that they moved to the next day. But
then they're stuck in a loop.
Another loop. That would be lame.
Well, also if it's 10 years later, it's like, some time has passed. Anyway, I just thought that was fun. And I don't expect them to make a sequel to Palm Springs, but if they did, I would watch it. I really would. Palm Sprang 2, Palm Sprang. Oh, Sarah, it could be like a trilogy. Palm Springs, Palm Sprang, Palm Sprung.
Exactly.
Somebody call Lonely Island. We've got to pitch. We got to pitch this title to them.
Oh, they produced that.
They did. Yes, they did. Speaking of the Lonely Island, shall we talk about this movie?
Yes.
I still didn't look it up. Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stubbing. When the hell was this movie actually
2018?
made? It definitely seemed like it was during the Obama times because there was
Obama saying that they were fucking it morons or something.
That he was a moron. Yeah, 2016.
Okay.
And also the movie had it lacked the the stench of death that has pervaded all of our hearts since that last guy got elected. So there was a bit of a lightness to it that I think has been lacking in our media.
Light and fluffy.
So Lonely Island produced, of course, all 3 of them produced and wrote this film. Akiva and Yorma starred. Akiva and Yorma directed it, so they co-directed this movie.
Just like us.
I know, just like us. We could be Lonely Island. We could be, right? Couldn't we?
The loneliest island.
I tell you what, making a film does feel like a lonely island at times. So Sarah, you really, really, really wanted to watch this movie. Did it live up to expectations for you?
It was what I was expecting, yes.
Okay.
But what I found was that I want more than what I expected.
Like you want this to be a series, or you just were not satisfied?
I wanted it to be better.
Oh, it wasn't as good as you thought it was going to be.
The thing is, it was as good as I thought it was going to be, and I didn't think it was going to be amazing. I thought it was going to be okay, and it was okay.
So you thought it was just okay?
Yeah,
fair. I enjoyed it. I cackled a lot. I thought that it was, and I want to save some of my final thoughts about it for the end, but my initial impressions of it were the music was really catchy. The writing was really solid. Everybody's performances were really good. They had so many fun cameos. Oh my God, the cameos.
So many cameos. Every few shots was like a cameo.
What was your favorite cameo?
Justin Timberlake.
Hands down. Hands down.
Just Quash.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Especially when he shows up at the end in the bunny costume.
The fish.
I was fucking dying. Oh yeah, the fish. That's right. I was fucking dying. He was the best. I love him so much. My sister actually watched this movie with me because she came over to pick up the kids, and I was like, I'm watching Popstar today, so why don't you kick up your feet and let's watch this?
Good idea.
And Amanda, I don't think Amanda is as huge a fan of Andy's work as we are, so she was a little skeptical, but I caught her laughing heartily throughout, and I was like, you like this movie, don't you? And she was like, I am having a good time. I'm not having a great time, but I'm having a good time. She enjoyed it. She laughed, and she was skeptical. I thought this was like a real tight fucking movie. That's my initial impressions of it. I laughed a lot, and I'll have more to say about that when we get to the end. But what's first on your list? What should we I feel like there's only one place we can start, really. Are you okay? Are you all right?
I knocked my table. I'm safe.
Are you
I was not harmed.
Are you so upset about that you're flipping the table?
I'm
like
flipping
Thor style.
Yes. Oh shit. Sorry.
I feel like there's only one place to start.
Style boils?
Of course.
Style boils?
Style boils.
Style boys.
We got to start with the style boys, I feel like.
Kid Contact. Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Yorma.
Yeah.
Kid Brain. Lawrence.
That's right.
Played by Akiva. And Kid Connor, a.k.a. Connor for real, a.k.a. Andy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All those.
Yes.
I love how the other guys had like a really like kind of, there's something artistic or intellectual about their names, and he's just like Connor. They're like, we don't really have anything for you. So
Kid
the face and the voice, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, although Akiva did sing a lot as well in this movie when they had him on screen. So the Style Boys, a little bit of Beastie Boys, it seems like.
Yes.
There was a little bit of Beastie Boys in there. There was a little bit of something like your 98 Degrees in Sync, but it felt more like the Beastie Boys.
Oh my gosh, there was
honestly.
a picture of them where they gave them in sync hair. Like they gave Andy
the
Justin
Timberlake
hair when he was in NSYNC.
That was amazing. And I love that Justin Timberlake showed up in the movie later because I feel like it was his blessing.
Yes.
Because like this movie, I feel like, okay, I don't want to sidetrack too much, but I feel like, so this movie, I thought when it came out was like about just like a Justin Bieber parody, which is how the studio they marketed it. And I was like, I'm not interested in that. Just not interested. And so I didn't really seek this movie out. But I don't feel like that's what this movie is about at all. I mean, it is a music documentary, like a mockumentary, but it's not like about Justin Bieber. It's like, I feel like it's more about the music business and fame and friendship, I think, really.
And it's like kind of like them too.
Exactly. Oh God, Sarah. Okay, let's get back to the Style Boys. So they were BFFs as boys. Little boys.
Elementary school. I think they were like 9 or even before.
Yeah, they're little boys. They started a band together. There's that scene. There's that part where
he's playing drums as a baby.
Where Connor's playing drums as a baby. That was very funny. And they rose to fame and then began to, like, they tell you all of this in the very beginning, and then they split up over Connor sort of being front and center, and Lawrence is not cool with that.
Can you say Beyonce, Destiny's Child,
or any one of these? Justin Timberlake in sync. Like he rose out and at the forefront.
By the way, not to skip ahead, but I love their use of the Wu-Tang Clan.
I know, that was hilarious.
At the end when it was like, we're just like the Wu-Tang, or we're just as good as the Wu-Tang Clan.
He's like, we're better than the Wu-Tang. We're like the Wu-Tang Clan a little bit better. And he's like, are we? And he's like, you know what? I heard it when I said it, and it was. I know there were so many good jokes about the joke where they were like the throwaway joke where it was like Taylor Swift's been arrested for murder.
Yes.
So there's so many good jokes like that in this movie. You know what? You're right. I feel like we can't talk about the Style Boys without talking about the Lonely Island because they're so similar.
They met when they were young.
Mm-hmm.
They had a group that they did songs and stuff, and then they kind of went their separate ways to go to different colleges, and then they came back together. And then
you're the Lonely Island historian. I don't know much about this as you do, but I feel like there is an undercurrent of, the trio wanting to rise to fame together, but then Andy standing out, which he did.
Yep.
Like he got on SNL. He's been in all these movies. Like
and the thing is, they got on SNL too. He
stood out because he was the face. He's like the face of Lonely Island, and he's so fucking pretty.
Yeah,
he's so fucking pretty. I mean, nothing on Yorma and Akiva, but like Andy is
Yorma is adorable.
Yorma's adorable. Andy is smoking hot though. Like we can't deny that. And so like it's like if things had gone differently, like maybe this is how it would have played out. Like if jealousy and like if Andy had been more of a dick, you know what I mean? Because like Connor doesn't take fame well, and Lawrence, played by Akiva, doesn't take, you know, being second banana well. He doesn't take that well at all. So it's a combination of those things that breaks up that band. And but Owen sticks with Connor.
Yeah, I thought that was so cute. Like in the iPod thing, and
he really like. But I thought it was sad, Sarah. I would never do that to you.
No.
Like he sapped all of his creativity and choices, and like just kind of made him. He was just kind of around to prop up Connor, and he wasn't really getting
that EDM head.
That was hilarious and sad. I was like, it's like the more he can embarrass and like minimize Owen, you know.
But like, also, I didn't write them down, but I loved the EDM artist names that he just like spat out.
Oh my god, that was hilarious! I wish I had written them down.
It's like LSD3PO, LSD3PO, or
it was R2 LSD or something like
LSD. Yeah. And then there was also like,
and then he just threw Elton John in there.
John at the end, yeah. Vinyl Richie.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Gosh, yeah.
I hope somebody steals that band name. Yeah. So the very beginning of the movie is that, like, the history of them. Lawrence goes off to be a very bad farmer. Just bad. Actually, he's not a bad farmer. Or at least he hires the right people. We find out later he's actually very successful.
Yeah.
But he's definitely bad at woodworking, that's for sure.
Yeah. Whittling.
Yeah, that's not great at that.
Terrible. Yeah, and he gets shit on by birds.
Yeah, that was a good running joke. I'm just saying, like, the fucking writing in this movie is solid. Like, good jokes. The plot was
structure
tight. Yeah, I mean the whole thing, and great actors. Tim Meadows. Let's talk about Tim Meadows. So he's their manager, Harry, or is it Henry?
Tony. Just kidding. It's Harry.
Oh yeah, because he was
Tony.
The Tony joke, I think, might have been my favorite joke, where he's like, and I wanted to put a question mark on it, so it was like Tony, and I was like, yes,
4 Tonys.
Oh my god, 4 Tonys. That made me laugh. Also, just to bring in Tony as, like, you know, some reference, which, you know, like, I was like, yes, I'm from the 80s. I understood that reference, you know. I guess that was more of a 90s.
I'm not from.
It was more a 90s thing, I guess, but late 80s, early 90s. But they were like they were like Boyz II Men before Boyz II Men.
Oh,
you know,
who?
not even Tony. They were around that contemporary time period. They were one of those guy groups, you know, like
that's a real.
Tony is a real band.
Really?
And that was a real image, and they just photoshopped.
They put Tim Meadows in there.
They photoshopped Tim Meadows. That was a real album cover.
Oh my god, that's so funny! I had no idea. I thought they were just bullshit.
No, they were like Boyz II Men, New Edition. They were like that kind of era.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I can't remember their song right now, but I remember
that
being
font.
Yes, that was the font in the 90s. That was the font. So Harry anyway, he's their manager, and he's been their manager since they were, you know, the Style Boys.
Yeah.
And then we have Sarah Silverman, who's the publicist.
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting that usually those roles are like, those people are really like blood-sucking.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like not at all characterized that way. Like Harry and the publicist, who I can't remember her character's name right now, were like almost like taking care of them. They were like family. They were like, they had their own stake in things. So it was like at a certain point, Harry was like, I can't manage you right now by yourself because your fucking album isn't selling. But like, they were never like exploiting or you know, even like, I mean, Sarah Silverman's character actually kind of swoops in to save the day a little bit at the end. And I thought that was really interesting that from their point of view, because this movie is obviously about them and their experience with the industry. And it's not a secret because listeners are going to be shocked, but I did some research. I actually read a little bit about this. I mean, I read a couple interviews and I read Wikipedia.
Well, I didn't, so I'm dying.
Don't get too excited.
Okay, I'm not. Can I go now?
Lower your expectations. So Akiva and Andy and Yorma said that they wanted to make a movie initially about the Lonely Island, but like a mockumentary that was like about a group that's like Lonely Island. So that was their initial idea. And then when Judd Apatow came on board in the development process, he was like, that's great, but like, let's make it about pop music. Like he wanted to separate the movie from their story, but still make it about.
That's probably smart.
I think so too, because then otherwise, like then it's like too meta. You know what I mean? It's too meta.
It's too close to home. It might invite things into their lives or scrutiny, or
I think it gave them a lot more freedom.
Yeah,
you know, to be able to. And Judd Apatow's thought was, you guys are already Lonely Island makes music albums, so make it a film that has music in it. Like make it a music film so that you can have your songs in it as well. Yeah. And so so then they shifted gears and they decided, okay, well, if we're going to do that, we'll just make it a movie about somebody like a pop star, like a Usher or a Justin Bieber.
Oh my God, Usher. We'll get to Usher.
Oh, I love Usher.
Come on, man.
All the cameos. He got to do the donkey roll, Sarah.
Oh
they let him do the donkey roll. He really rocked that donkey roll. He did.
He did. Oh my gosh. And there was a line where he was like, the donkey roll is why I dance. And I was like, what?
I just, the cameos. Yes. Snoop Dogg, I could go on. Yes. Maya Rudolph
as
Deborah. Sarah, I feel like this is a movie you can watch more than once and you might enjoy it more time.
I watched it twice.
Did? Wow. Okay. Well, you watched it twice. I only watched it once. I literally watched it this afternoon. So I
watched it yesterday, and then I watched it again today.
That's research. Anyway, they were going to make it about a singular musician, and I think that the Style Boys part was going to be like much smaller, and then Judd kept encouraging them to make it about the three of them, and make that kind of the heart of the movie. And
that's smart too.
And but the thing is, Sarah, this movie, they shot so much footage. Like apparently there's other cuts out there where like, they were like, we shot so much of Connor's downfall. They were like, we could have gone on for another hour. They were like, it got so dark. It got super dark. And they were like, we did all these test screenings and the audience could only handle like 10 minutes of his downfall. They were like, that's all they could handle.
Yeah.
Which I agree. Like you're like, wow, this is like the part where he's like drinking tequila every morning. You're like, oh, this is sad. But that I don't know how true this is, but Yorma says they shot like 400 hours of footage in the interview I read, because they would like shoot stuff and then they'd edit and then they'd go back and they're like, because it was easy for us to shoot these like social media videos. We'd like have Andy shoot another one, or we'd do more voiceover.
Hey, I just jacked it. I'm feeling really mellow.
That was my favorite. I just jacked it. That was amazing. Yeah, they kept adding stuff and they were like, this is the movie that evolved the most in the editing. And they had a ton of extra stuff. They said that initially the film was more focused on Connor, and the more test screenings they did, the more people wanted more of the friendship story. They were more into that. That whole scene with the dick in the window, that was a reshoot. That was a reshoot. Judd was like, I need you guys at that, like they were in the editing process and Judd Apatow was like, you guys need to have an argument. I need to see the three of you like try to make it work and get back together and like it doesn't work and you have an argument. And so they were like, okay, we'll do that, but also we have to put this dick in the window.
So
Like,
they
dick in the window.
They said that.
They were joking about how like Judd wanted them to create this like emotionally resonant scene, and they were like, yes, but also let's have like a dick in the window.
I can't believe that they had the idea to, and like he had to sign it, and he had to sign it.
Whose dick was that? I need to know whose dick that was. That was a real dick.
Yeah, that was
not a prop dick.
No,
that was someone's real dick.
And the way the window,
and they put it in the window.
It was like,
I was afraid. I was afraid for that man's dick. Whose dick is that? I need to know. I didn't IMDb it. Maybe the dick is on IMDb. Listeners, if you know whose dick that was, tweet at us at AdamAndyPod. I'm very concerned. And also, I laughed very hard about the dick. I looked when he's like, and I will suckle on these.
Yes.
I was very shocked by the giant nipples on the window, but then I was like, oh, this is in service to a dick joke, so I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like we're all over the place. Anyway, that's just some stuff about that from the interview that I thought you would be interested.
Some incredible thoughts that you're having about this movie.
I'm having incredible thoughts right now
with Michael Bolton.
God. Okay, you say something. You pick something off your list. I feel like I've been like been saying so many things.
We can move on from this, but I'll just say white butt jeans.
Did you like that?
White butt jeans.
You thought it was funny, or you liked it?
Maybe. I don't know.
I liked a little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
There was like
what was that? What did it say on his butt? It said like stick it in or
exit only.
Oh,
and
that's
then on the
too
front
bad.
It said jizz something. Jizz something.
I saw that. Jizz something. Yeah. Yeah. Well, given that Connor is a touch homophobic, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So the first song was the Humblest.
Is that
song?
Okay.
Where he was like, "I'm the humblest. I'm at the top of the humble list."
Yes. I mean, the songs in this fucking movie are spot on.
Yes.
I thought they were. How do you think they compare to the Bash Brothers album?
I think it's comparable. I think that the lyrics in Bash Brothers were much more intricate.
Yeah,
I think that this one, I think
it was darker. It was darker. Bash Brothers was a little darker.
Yeah, and I think that this one, every song had one joke, and they just did it like a million different ways. So I feel like the humble song was about he's so humble, but he's not actually humble, and it was like every lyric was in service to that joke, and then the I'm not gay.
Well,
the joke was
how it's
homophobic.
Yes, yes.
And it was just a bunch of
they really
jokes.
walked the line there. Like at first, I was a little like, ugh, but then like they worked in everybody in the video basically being like, ew. So I mean, there was a thought. It was a hard line they were walking there. I don't know.
The U.S. fucked Bin Laden.
That song.
Joke.
Okay, let me ask you first. What's your favorite song before I say anything more? What's your favorite song from this?
Maybe the Humble song.
I will be singing "Fuck Bin Laden" in my head for the next week. Like that song was catchy as hell, and it made me laugh so hard because it's definitely there was something so very 2016 about it. It was there was almost something 2012 about it. I don't know. It was just
when did Bin Laden get assassinated?
It was probably around that time. It was during Obama's administration, but it was just like so the combination of like trying to do something that's politically relevant with something that doesn't fit with it, with just like also the hook was really catchy.
Yeah.
So that,
catchy, but again, it was sex jokes. Like I feel like all
there
of
were
their
a lot of sex jokes,
are sex jokes and dick jokes, and
but isn't that so far? Haven't we seen that's kind of like that's
their thing? I know, but I'm bored of it. I'm tired of it.
Well, are you tired of it because you've been watching all of his movies, or
I'm tired of it as a society?
Oh, okay, fair.
I'm tired. Like I don't know. I feel like I feel like, yes, shock humor is shocking and
I don't know if
humorous,
I
but
qualify this as shock humor. I think this falls into the category, Sarah, of the this is exactly in line with the all the things that they poke fun at, and we can categorize them as dick jokes, but it is the machismo. That's what this is
yes.
about. And all of the movies we've watched about that where they have the creative control, Palm Springs excluded, are about making fun of machismo. And I feel like this is no exception. But instead of having, there's no like bad father figure character here.
No.
That's the thing that's missing. But like his homophobia, his obsession with his dick, his obsession with sex, his always feeling he has to be right and the center of attention, all of that is, I mean, all of it is, I think, a mockery of the machismo of the virile male pop star.
Yeah, I guess.
And I feel like they did a good job of parodying that.
Yes. I guess like I'm just a little bit like seeing what Andy could do with Palm Springs. Like I feel like all the rest of his characters, except for Celeste and Jesse for forever, but all of them could be lumped in as this same character. Like there's this one character that is this type, the bro-y kind of like has that same voice, like has that same demeanor, not genuine. There's
I think that you can draw a lot of parallels between this guy and Rod from Hot Rod. I think you can draw parallels between this guy and his character in Tour de Pharmacy, and his character in 7 Days in Hell, and even Jose Canseco. Like I think you can connect the dots, but I do think they are different characters. So I will give him that, because Rod is like kind of naive and like also, like, if you look at the development in Andy's performance between, say, Hot Rod and this, like, I think if you put this next to Hot Rod, which I also love Hot Rod, like, I love Hot Rod and I will watch that movie again for sure. But Andy and Akiva and Yorma's development in terms of the directing, the writing, and the acting.
Improved. Very improved.
Like, Andy's, remember we talked about how Andy and Yorma, like everybody was very broad in that movie. Like there was a lot of broad acting. I feel like this movie certainly had over the top moments because it's still a comedy, but I feel like it was like everything around him was crazy. And he, for the most part, was grounded a lot.
I thought that he was almost grounded. I thought he was more grounded than he was in Hot Rod, but I thought that there was an element that was not real, that was not genuine. That if you look at Palm Springs, like Palm Springs was like, that's why he was nominated for Best Actor, because like, it was like that. Well,
Niles is a human being, and Connor is a character. Like he's still playing a character, but this level of execution, I think, exceeds the level of execution in Hot Rod, where he was pushing the jokes a lot more in Hot Rod. And I think that's like just a matter of his development as an actor. Like he's pushing the jokes more, and here he's not pushing them quite so hard.
Yeah.
Yes, we're still in the realm of comedy acting. It's not the same thing as Palm Springs at all.
Yeah.
But I think Niles was a person and this is a character. And that's the difference. And this movie is meant, but I think that this guy, Connor, compared to, say, Jose Canseco or the character from 7 Days in Hell, like I still think Connor has more dimensions than those other guys. You know? And I think the reason I think that is because of scenes like when he's apologizing to Lawrence, and Lawrence is just standing there on the porch. So like the Style Boys, you know, they break up, he goes on tour. I feel like we've got a lot to cover on the tour that we haven't, so we got to circle back to that. And then obviously he has, his album doesn't sell, his tour goes to shit, his fucking turtle dies, everything's going downhill, and he's standing there. Eventually he's sort of trying to reconcile with Owen and Lawrence from the Style Boys, which their relationship is the heart of this movie to me. And he's standing there, and I felt like the scene between him and Akiva was really good, where Akiva's just standing there saying nothing, and he's just like digging himself further and further and further and further until you're peeling back the layers.
There was no moment, even when he admitted that he was wrong, there was no moment that I felt like he truly was vulnerable and open and
that's fair
and honest.
I felt like when he said I'm sorry, the last thing he said, I'm sorry, right before the hug, that felt genuine to me. But I can see why that doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that he gave him a hug, because
I thought the hug made me super happy. I squealed.
Yeah, it made me happy too, but I didn't think it was earned. I don't know. I just really didn't like his character. You
didn't like Connor?
Character, no.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit more about that. What did you not like about him?
He seemed vapid. He seemed like he proposed to his girlfriend for a publicity thing. And
Imogen Poots, who was great. Loved her.
Yes.
She was great. I wanted more of her, but she was her very similar character to the one in 7 Days in Hell that was played.
Yeah, and I loved the joke that she had where she was like, ever since I was a little girl, I always looked at the couples of celebrity couples and wondered if they were real or if it was just for the fame. And I always wanted to be one of those couples.
I'm sorry, but the wolf attack was maybe my favorite scene.
Wolves.
That was
Party wolves.
That might have been my favorite scene. We were just like, oh my God, we thought she was going to we were like, she's going to get mauled by the wolves. And instead they just like attacked everyone else.
That it was Seal.
And Seal got attacked by and he's like, I've been in this situation before.
Where do you think I got these scars?
That was good. That was good stuff.
But yeah, so I just thought his character was one-dimensional, and I just didn't buy it. None of it. Like
I get you.
No moments.
Okay.
Where it always seemed comedy.
So it felt like a long sketch to you.
Yes.
But does it feel any more like a long sketch than, say, Bash Brothers or 7 Days in Hell? Like, I feel like those can all kind of fit together.
Long sketches, yes.
In the same basket. Only this one's longer,
Yes, I feel like, I guess the shorts were like, this is dumb, let's just have fun with this, but this was like, this is a movie with full length. We got all these this whole production to get together. We wrote this script, and it's like his character is just the same. And I just
I hear you, and I don't disagree. I just feel like this to me is the culmination of the work that they were doing. Like, now that they've done this, I'd like to see them move on to some other types of characters. Yes. But this to me feels like the best iteration of this type of joke, of that character. And I do think that he does tend to play dumb bros. Yes. Like dumb bros. That's who this guy is. He's a dumb bro. Yeah. But I do think I can look at each one of those dumb bros, and there's something slightly different about each of them to me. And if I look at the dumb bro that is Rod, and I look at the dumb bro that is Connor, like, there's an evolution there to me, both in the way that they're writing these guys and also the way that Andy is playing them.
I want you to name this episode "The Evolution of Dumb Bros."
I mean, that's his flavor when they're doing these Lonely Island sketches, or Lonely Island pieces. So I would I guess Jose Canseco came after this, so they're not. Why? Yeah, because that was 2019.
19?
Yeah.
Okay. They're still on their bullshit.
They're back on their bullshit, but they like it. That's what they're playing. I mean, think about this, Sarah. And in the interview that I read, they referenced the Marx Brothers. They made a joke about how Akiva was saying Akiva was making a joke about his acting, like how he was capital A acting in this movie, and then Yorma and Andy were making fun of him and saying that that was the audience's favorite part of the movie was when Akiva's on screen. The audience laughed for 5 minutes, and we really should have held for laughter the way the Marx Brothers did in their movies. And that's a really like specific reference. Like you don't know that the Marx Brothers held for laughter. Like that was something they demanded in their films because and I know this because I'm a fan of the Marx Brothers. And the Marx Brothers did the first two films, the Coconuts and Animal Crackers were stage shows. The first two films the Marx Brothers made in the 1930s. And so they knew where all the laughs were. And so when they filmed the movie, they didn't like hold like you would like and stop doing nothing, but they didn't make any more jokes until they knew that laugh would have gone out. And you don't know that unless you fucking love the Marx Brothers. And so, yes, and I feel like I'm really going to bat for Andy here, but I can't help myself. Like, yes, Connor is an iteration of Rod, is an iteration of fucking whatever his name is from 7 Days in Hell. Yes, he's an iteration probably of a bunch of Lonely Island sketches that I haven't even watched yet because we haven't done those yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the Marx Brothers played the same characters over and over and over again as well. And Yorma is kind of playing the same guy that he played in Hot Rod. He's playing the little brother. He's playing the guy who's trying to make it all work, who's just there to support his best friend and gets taken advantage of in a way that's unfair. But this movie has a conscience about what happens to Owen, and this movie didn't care what happened to Yorma's character in Hot Rod, right? They didn't even ask how he was feeling. This movie does.
Yep.
And Akiva's playing the same kind of character that he typically plays, this weirdo, like this sort of off, like, you know, aloof weirdo in a lot of the work that they do together. And so, yeah, they're recycling those stock characters and adjusting them each time, but so did the Marx Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's one of their influences, then it makes sense to me that they would continue that tradition. And for the most part, it works for them. It did not financially work for them with this movie, unfortunately. So
I mean, I guess I shouldn't poo-poo the characters being the same. I don't know, I guess.
But it's okay if that doesn't work for you. Like, you want to see something different. And also, I don't think everyone in America is watching all of Andy's films back to back the way that we are.
No.
But if they're not, they should think about doing it because it's very rewarding. I can promise you that your mood will be immediately lightened. Also, like, it's not like Andy can't do other things. This is just what he chooses to do when he's with these guys. But a character like Cuckoo is very different than, I feel like. I mean, he's still, again, playing kind of a dumb bro, but he's playing like a dumb hippie bro.
Yeah.
If you think about it, is Niles that different?
He's not that different, but the way that he played it was different.
But he was given the material that demanded that of him.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe we'll see him taking these in other directions, but I just feel like this is a type he feels comfortable playing.
Yep.
And comedic actors often, Sarah Silverman is playing a type in this movie that she is comfortable playing, and she did a great job with it. It's hard to be. Amy Poehler has a type that she plays. And I think a lot of actors get put into a type. It's rare that an actor is allowed to be something different because it's like Connor, like, I'm going to bring this back to the movie now. Connor, the audience keeps wanting him to do donkey roll because Connor is famous for a certain thing. Connor is beloved for a certain thing. He took a risk by making a bunch of dumb songs that he mostly wrote. He wanted to break out and take more control of his work. He didn't take Owen's beats or whatever. I don't know a lot about music production, but he was trying to make his own beats and his own lyrics. And sometimes you swing hard and you miss, right? Mm-hmm. And Hollywood wants you to stay in the box. And I think for comedy actors, that box is, what is the thing that makes people laugh? What do people like me for? It's rare that you get to step outside the box. I think Adam Driver is a rare actor that is allowed to be outside the box. It's almost like he's famous for being outside the box. But even Adam Driver has a type.
But he's outside of the same box. Like, he does have a type. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the weirdo.
It's the intense weirdo
box.
Except for when he's in Patterson, which when you see Patterson, you'll see a different side of him, I think. And I think Andy has a lot of different sides too. But yeah, like he knows his recipe. This movie, if we want to talk about comedic recipes. Hot Rod is like, I'm trying to make ramen for the first time, and I'm using like ramen out of the box, and I'm throwing some vegetables in there, and I don't really know how to boil an egg, but it still tastes good. This is like a fully cooked meal that somebody has been refining over time. Popstar is the refinement of the recipe that the Lonely Island has been working on, to me. So
Popstar, I can never stop refining.
I don't think they will, because they obviously went and did something very similar with Bash Brothers. Bash Brothers was another iteration of those characters. Yeah. You know, that's their flavor. And it worked for the Marx Brothers for a long time, for decades. Maybe eventually they will have to iterate on something different. But anyway. What would you like to talk about next? We haven't talked about Hunter and
Hunter the Hungry.
Hunter the Hungry.
Yes.
Chris Redd, who really stole a lot of scenes in this movie. Yeah. For me. But not in a way where I was like, like he was such a good villain.
Yeah. Yeah. So, he comes in, so they ask him to be the opener because Harry has the manager has told them that told Connor that his album is not selling, his tour is not selling. He needs an opener, so he hires Hunter the Hungry, who Connor is a fan of.
Connor seems really like indifferent to him,
but
I think
respects him.
I don't think he didn't seem to respect him when they went to see his show. He was like, I couldn't tell if he didn't like his music or he didn't like the fact that Hunter was on his way up.
Yeah.
And Connor was dimly aware, I think, that he was kind of on his way down at the moment.
Yeah.
But also, like, Hunter is a fucking maniac. Like, he's crazy. His music is aggressive. That whole montage of him like pranking people where he's like stealing people's toilet paper and like, pushing them into pools and stuff. Like, he's a maniac.
Yeah, and he actually stages a unbeknownst to Connor, the quick change trick.
Yeah, this is another one that really walks the line of is this joke something that should fly? Because there was something a bit transphobic about it.
Yeah,
not even a bit. Very transphobic.
Yeah,
where he's like having to tuck
for
his
this
dick and balls
costume change
for the costume change, and then. But then when they reveal the sorry, I bumped my mic. When they reveal the third costume, which that whole costume change thing was very cool. He doesn't have any clothes on, and he's been tucking, and so then everybody, promptly makes fun of him on the internet for having no dick.
Yeah.
Did I love this joke? Not really. Did I love the idea that he was embarrassed and shamed and made a fool of on stage by a prank that clearly like an alpha dog move by this up and coming artist? Mm-hmm. That, yes, I think is great. But the way they went about it was a little
yeah, and he's like, I want to show you my dick, but I can't.
But I also get that because maybe that may be a reference to the Jim Morrison. Do you know what happened with Jim Morrison? I don't know if that's what they were referencing, but that's what I thought of. So towards the end of the Doors' career, Jim Morrison was drunk most of the time, and in Miami, he supposedly, there's no evidence of this, but supposedly took his dick out on stage. Some people said he did, some people said he didn't, but anyway, he basically he had to, like, the part of the downfall of the Doors was them having to go to these, the Miami-Dade Police Department was like suing him for indecent exposure, but back then it was something you could actually go to jail for.
Oh, okay.
So he was very worried about going to jail, and I don't think the court case ever fully resolved itself before his death. Like, he went to Paris before I think it really completed, and then died in Paris. So I was thinking about Jim Morrison when he was saying, like, I want to show you my dick, but I can't. And I was like, is this about the Doors and Jim Morrison and his dick? Anyway, that's what I was thinking about.
Oh, I had no had no idea about that. Um,
Because I think the thing is that Connor's like I thought he couldn't show them his dick because he can't show them his dick on stage,
yeah,
or he'll be hauled off stage or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
So Chris Redd's character jokes that like, I did it, but did I? Yes, I did, but did I?
Was funny when they kept cutting back and forth, and he's like, I wouldn't, but did I? Like that was.
Yeah.
Chris Redd really did a fantastic job in this movie. And Chris Redd is very talented. I was wondering if he had written some of those. He didn't write any of. He does write a lot of songs for SNL.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much he had to do with
like,
Hunter.
Did you write his song?
Yorma wrote those songs.
Okay.
I read in the interview that Yorma wrote Hunter the Hungry's songs. That was his thing that he did. I mean, he did other stuff too, but when they came up with that character, Yorma was like, I got this. And he went off and wrote a bunch of songs for that character. So I don't know.
Reference to Ford Taurus. Like,
also, can we just circle back for a moment to Lawrence's solo album where he's singing about like gym socks and like empty soda cans? And he's like, these are the things that are in my Jeep.
Yes. Oh, and then like the next thing was like someone was like, yeah, I didn't relate to that song because I have did different stuff in my Jeep.
Exactly. All the stuff about like how people we didn't even talked about the TMZ scenes or the TMZ parody.
The CMZ.
That
oh my God.
I hate that show.
Birbiglia in a blonde wig.
That was Mike Birbiglia. Oh my God. I recognized Eric Andre and I recognized Chelsea Peretti,
that was Mike Birbiglia in a blonde wig.
Oh my God. Okay, when Will Arnett when they're in the scene where they're talking and they have like a million cups with straws, I was like, oh my God, it's just like that show. I hate TMZ.
I've
it's
never
terrible.
Seen that show.
It's terrible. It's so terrible. But it's appeared in my Twitter occasionally.
What's the drink joke about?
It's just that they're always drinking out of these giant cups. Like it's like the guy is always drinking out of a giant cup.
Oh my God,
it's absurd. And when they have Will on it and he's got them all like duct taped together.
Yes,
I died. I fucking died. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
Apparently they have a ton of extra footage of that. I watched a gag reel. I watched a gag reel that was very funny, but apparently there's a bunch of I'll look it up. I'll try to post it to the Twitter maybe.
They put some more in the credits. Did you watch the credits?
I had to go get my hair cut. I'll have to go back and watch it. Was there a good one? A really good one I missed?
I think so the one in the credits was about them being like they were like trying to like joke about the Star Boys and Connor, but they were just ended up being like heartwarmed by like how they got back to get together, and they were like, and like it's kind of like a feel good kind of thing where like they can't make fun of them anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but apparently there's a bunch of like extra deleted scenes and shit. I did watch in the gag reel. There's a whole thing where when Lawrence is going through all his different types of weed, and there's like one jar that says frog jizz on it.
Yes,
there's a whole scene where he's talking to them about the frog jizz that they couldn't ever get through because they couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my gosh.
So that's
where
on the gag
can I
reel.
see this?
YouTube. Just Google Popstar gag reel.
They had postpartum depression was the name of one of the weeds.
Okay. Shit. Shit.
So I feel like there were other things that kind of walked the line of, or like were offensive, like the España song, like again,
I'm not a Spanish speaking person, so I don't maybe to me I thought it was just pointing out how fucking stupid he is. Yeah. It was so off the charts stupid that it seemed to me like a thing about how Americans
are making fun of him being stupid,
but also just Americans being dumb and going to doing a semester in Spain and then coming back and thinking that they can suddenly they're suddenly cultured and can that's what that joke was to me, was the stupidity of a white person trying to seem like they understand or can speak Spanish.
Yeah.
That was, or the culture that he's trying to sing about. So that didn't particularly bother me. So what else would you like to say about this movie?
So let's see. We talked about the main. So how what's his name? Owen gets Lawrence and Connor back to get together. He parent traps them.
He parent traps them was so cute. Also, the scene where Connor makes them eat shit.
Yes.
Oh my God. I thought the writing, I love being able to, I love that we are now scholars of Andy Samberg's work officially, because I feel like at this point we watch so much of his stuff and we're not done yet. We're not done. There's so much more.
Okay.
But the evolution of the writing here, and again, I love Hot Rod, but compared to something like Hot Rod, where Connor doesn't know who to trust, right? So his album sales not doing well, right? His tour not going well. His opening act, Hunter the Hungry, is far out surpassing him in every way, right? And so he's not, and his manager now, Harry is now managing Hunter the Hungry because Connor tried to make him choose, and Harry was like, I'm not going to choose. I have to, I need this for the money. And Connor's like, well, you're fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't know who to trust. He makes these pancakes with dog shit in them. And all of his yes men are like, ooh, this is delicious. And Owen's like, I'm sorry, bro, but this tastes like shit, basically. And the fact that Owen gets upset instead of being like, oh, it's okay that you made me eat shit. Like this motivates a character moment between the two of them where he's like, I am tired of you treating me like this.
Yeah.
That you can feed me shit and I'm okay with it. Like he's been feeding Owen shit this whole movie.
Yeah.
Now he's feeding him literal shit and Owen's tired of it. So I really like that scene a lot.
Yeah.
Also just how he's like, what is the matter with you? Like I think the whole thing was very good. Yorma's a good actor. I think Yorma and Andy. I like Akiva too.
He was very soulful.
Yeah, Yorma did a really good job in this movie too.
Yeah.
A lot. He did really good. Okay. Poor Maximus.
Oh my God.
I'm just glad we didn't have to see like a really graphic turtle death, because the minute they introduced that turtle, I was like, that turtle is not going to make it.
The minute they introduced him, I was like, why is this turtle in this scene?
No.
Like, why are they introducing us to this turtle?
Because the turtle is Connor's connection with his, like the real him, like the real him who has real relationships. He can't count on his mother because she's a fucking mess. By the way, Joan Cusack. Love her.
Cusack for the win. So I thought that was a very nice touch that he thought that his mom gave him Maximus.
I thought it was his dad.
No, he thought I watched it twice, so I can verify
you're right.
It was his mom.
Yeah.
And then in the scene with Sarah Silverman's character, when they watch the old footage from that day, he realizes it's his friends who gave him the turtle.
Yeah.
His friends, Akiva and Yorma. Just kidding. It's Lawrence and Owen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's kind of one of the things that motivates him to get them back together.
And they like work to get like they like have fun with their old jams, and like
I loved that scene.
I loved the scene. Yeah.
What I like about this movie is I feel like, and this I think happens in, I think it, first of all, they obviously love this format because we've seen them do it with, I know that they didn't personally necessarily have their hands fully in 7 Days in Hell and Tour de Pharmacy, but these all feel very similar. So they obviously really love this format of the mockumentary and the talking head interviews and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of those movies end on a down note.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Bash Brothers kind of ends like with them broken up or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like that this one didn't go that route. This one was like
happy ending.
The friendship was the thing that brought, like, what he really needed was to remember that the friendship was the important thing.
Yeah.
And so I really loved their whole weed montage. I loved
I
them
know,
like
yeah.
turning the award that had come between them into a bong and like
Yes.
making music in the barn
Yes.
and then their comeback song at the end
Incredible thoughts.
with Michael Bolton, who I can only
Yes.
assume they made friends with. I did this come before or after the Christmas special that
I
they
don't
did?
know. Maybe
Because Michael Bolton's
before.
Christmas special that
Yes,
they
I
were in.
love that special. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, incredible thoughts. I love the scene where Connor has to decide, like, he only has 3 minutes. Okay, you can either do it with the
Yes.
Style Boys or you can do one of your songs from
I
the.
loved how the stage manager was narrating that moment. She was like, he's looking away and he's thinking, I'm thinking
That
he
was
might be thinking about.
hilarious. And the song was really fun and stupid. Like the song was
Very
stupid, like they're stupid, but
Yeah.
fun. And
it was like wholesome.
It was very wholesome compared to the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Where there was like, God, what was that song about? Like, it was the Fuck Bin Laden song where they were talking about dominating that pussy or something like that.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
gosh. No. It was terrorize.
Terrorize that. Come on, Sarah. That is a great lyric. That is brilliant. Terrorize that pussy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that this movie was very much about like how how fame makes people like forget who they really are and what's really important. And that's not a story. I think I can agree with you that is not a new story. It has been explored in many ways and in ways that are probably a lot deeper than this movie.
Mm.
But this was their take on it.
Yeah.
And for them, their take on it is fame can destroy you if you forget what centers you. And for them, that is their friendship.
Yep.
Their real life friendship, these guys, it centers them in this crazy business. And so for that to be the resolution here, I think it could have gone a different way where Connor just like fades into obscurity or whatever, drinks himself to death or what have you. But instead it ends with them coming together and reforming their group and rekindling this relationship and Harry rejoining them as their manager. And I thought that was really that was a real feel good ending, and I felt like it was earned and it was satisfying to me.
I agree. I mean, it was, yeah, it was satisfying despite being a little like bit of something I've seen before. It was very
I mean, this is not I don't think this was I think this was a very executed very well. It's not super new in terms of what it's trying to say.
Yeah.
For sure, but it was executed very well and I enjoyed it.
Yes. Honorable mention, the horse drawings.
Oh my God, the part where he's like,
horses.
He's like, this one isn't my best.
Sells it on eBay or something.
Also, when he puts the disguise on to go to Owen's concert,
the makeup. I'm gonna put on my makeup. Don't put that on.
She's like, what did she say? You look like Dermot Mulrooney had a peanut allergy or something.
Yes.
I was thinking he looked like Russ, like when Ross is trying to be Russ on Friends. I was like, he looks like Russ. I was waiting for someone to make a Russ joke, but I guess that was not the audience we were working with.
Yeah, he loved Owen's performance, except for the singing.
Well, it was kind of also about how they needed each other. You know, like they were better together than apart. Yeah. And I think that's a really sweet message for them on behalf of what they were trying to accomplish. Okay, final thoughts.
On
Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
I enjoyed a lot of it. Overall, I wish that they could do something different.
Mm-hmm. You'd like to see something different from them.
Something new. Yeah, something fresh. Something
maybe something, like an opera. like a rock
Something
opera, like a Phantom of the Opera. I'm just
Phantom
kidding.
of the Opera?
They're more they I think this is their genre, this pop hip hop kind of like that's their genre, but what else could they do with it? I don't know. I'd like to see them do something different with it too.
I'd like to see Yorma as the star. Nicole, your face. What's that face?
I like Yorma. Yorma's great, but I want as much Andy as they'll give me.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, I want as much Andy as they'll give me. Also, like, there was a lot of Yorma in this movie.
There was.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I just want more Andy. Give me more Andy.
Okay.
Give me more Andy give me Andy with a side of Yorma. I'm fine with it. A side of Yorma and a side of Akiva. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. So do you know anything about the critical response to this movie?
I do not. Can you share?
Yes. Ironically, this movie was a box office bomb.
Ooh.
So I think the budget was $20 million.
Ooh.
They made back $9 million.
No.
Yeah. So this movie did not do well. Aww. I think it has found an audience after the fact. Like, a lot of people really love this movie. It's got kind of like a cult following. The way the movie was marketed at the time was it was like Justin Bieber's like documentary that he put out.
He has a
It was one of those concert docs, like Michael Jackson or Taylor Swift or whatever. They all have those. And that's what this was kind of parodying. I loved at the end where they were all doing documentaries at the same time. Yes. That was very funny. So the marketing department for this movie chose to focus on things about this movie that seemed more like Justin Bieber. It really, I feel like and Akiva and Andy and Yorma said this, and they were like, we had a great experience with the studio. We had a great experience with working with Judd. We did not love the way the movie was marketed because we felt like it wasn't about Justin Bieber. We don't have a beef with Justin Bieber. It was about the music industry in general, and it was more about the Lonely Island. And so they think that perhaps the marketing could have...
What did the marketing do that made it seem like that? Like,
it's just like it chose to focus on Connor and like all the things that were a little bit more Bieberish and not about the group or like, yeah. So it felt it didn't. I don't remember personally from the marketing very much about Akiva or Yorma at all. Even it was mostly, ironically, mostly focused on Andy, I think, and his Connor character. Also, it came out, Captain America Civil War had come out, and so that was kind of like topping the box office, or for whatever reason, people didn't. It was just like Connor. It's like people didn't connect to it for some reason. Yeah. And it may have been that the marketing was bad. Certainly that's happened to films like Jennifer's Body, where the studio markets it a certain way, and it doesn't net the people that are actually the audience for this movie.
But also, this is not a film I would go to the theaters to see. Like, I would wait for this I'd watch this at home.
I think that's a general problem for a lot of comedies these days. And this movie came out in 2016, but I think a big problem for a lot of comedies is that people are waiting until it comes out on video. But if this movie had come out now and came out on HBO Max or something, it probably would have found an audience a lot faster. But yeah, so that's the story of Popstar Never Stopping. So they were all pretty sad that it didn't do better. Yeah. And I think this is the last big Lonely Island movie that they made together.
Oh, it's sad.
Well, maybe they'll make something else in the future, but they are still making shorts and things together, and
maybe something with fewer people. Like, how much do they pay everyone?
I don't know.
There were
they know a lot. I mean, Andy has worked on a lot of different things, and I think the Lonely Island is like a beloved kind of group.
So
and
they were like, I'll be in it for free.
No, I don't think they were in it for free, but I don't think it was hard for them to convince people to be in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely has like a pretty devoted following now. So, maybe it got its second life. I really enjoyed this movie. where would you say this for you stacks up with all the other documentary, including the sports documentaries type movies?
I'd say this is probably the best out
I
of all of
agree.
those.
Yeah. I think and I haven't watched their shorts yet, but to me, of the Lonely Island stuff I've seen, I feel like this is their best work.
Mm-hmm.
Although, even though Hot Rod has a lot of like sharp, like rough edges in terms of like it's not as well executed, I think Hot Rod would be more of a comfort film for me than this. Like I enjoyed Popstar, loved it. It was very funny. But if I'm like curling up in my bed and want to watch like one of Andy's old movies, I probably like if it wasn't Palm Springs, I'd probably pop in Hot Rod.
Mm-hmm.
But I would watch this again. It was really fun. And I might even like listen to the album on Spotify and jam out to Fuck Bin Laden because that shit slaps. It slaps pretty hard for me. Just gonna say it.
Yes.
All right. Shall we do some Adam or Andy trivia?
What about, are we doing the trivia first or the thirst first?
Oh my God, the thirst. You're right. Okay. So let's do some thirst. Oh, you know what? We didn't even mention real quickly before we do thirst. Thank you for reminding me because how could I not? How could I skip over the thirst? We didn't talk about this, but the Mona Lisa song that you quoted a couple of trivias ago came from this movie. Apparently, they had cut together the opening, like the first act of this movie. They cut it together. Yorma said 120 times. I cannot imagine that's true. But in the original opening, Mona Lisa was part of the opening and the whole song was in there. And it only ended up with like the first couple.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I agree. Well, not my favorite song.
The song they actually used was the right choice.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, thirst. You want to go first? You want to go first with your thirst? First thirst?
I'm having a problem with thirst because being demisexual, I'm only attracted to people I am emotionally attracted to. And so these characters that
you didn't like Connor.
And I didn't like Connor. So I really like I don't know.
That's fair.
I'm like non-applicable.
Okay, not applicable. You know,
is that a correct? Is that an okay response?
I think that's an okay response. And you know what? For the most part, I didn't find Connor didn't didn't light my nether regions on fire as a character. But I do think that Andy's body was very beautiful in this movie, and so I can appreciate that. So here are some things on my thirst list. We got to see Andy's bum finally, like his bum. We saw the whole bum. They waxed when he goes, I got my bum waxed, and we got to see Andy's butt. And after all this time doing the show, finally I got to see Andy's butt, and I feel like I earned it, and it was everything I could have hoped for. His bum is cute, little juicy bum, so cute. Lots of tank tops.
Mm-hmm.
So many tank tops. And I appreciate the tank tops. I liked some of the outfits they had him in. I really liked the red and black jacket they had him in when he was apologizing to Lawrence. It had almost like a Michael Jackson Beat It kind of thing going on. And I was really into it. I also really liked the white tuxedos they wore in the last song. And he had another flashy tuxedo we wore in a different song, and so I liked.
So you liked the clothes?
I did. I thought some of the clothes were intentionally absurd, but I liked it when he was in his like stage tuxedo clothes and the red and the jacket. That jacket specifically.
I would have thought you would have gone for the part where he hacks away like a sign or
the samurai
with the samurai.
I think sword. I was too sad for him at that point.
Oh, okay.
There was a part that I did sit up in my chair a little bit, and I know it was meant to be a joke. I'm fully aware that this is meant to be a joke, but there was one line he said where he said, "The stage is where we fuck." And I was like, yes, it is. I feel that deep inside.
I guess the closest for me is when he's drawing the horse drawings.
Oh, Sarah, that does seem like something very wholesome and appealing to you. I know that sounds exactly like your brand. That's your brand right there.
As you would imagine, I'm normally up for pretty much anything in the bedroom, but I can't tell if what happened was weird or sexy.
I'm all hot and bothered after that. I'm all hot and bothered. Are you ready to do some Adam and Andy trivia?
Yes, let's.
Adam or Andy, a trivia contest for one. Sarah's going to come up with some kind of trivia challenge for me. She's going to try to stump me.
This is a 3-question Lonely Island trivia. It is
Lonely
multiple choice.
Multiple choice. Okay, I'm ready.
When did the 3 of them meet? When and where? A. Elementary school TT ball team. B. Music camp between elementary and junior high. C. Junior high school in Spanish class. D. High school drama.
God, all of those sound like they could be right. I don't know why, but I'm going to go with Spanish class.
You are correct.
That was the one that's like, I was like, that sounds like, I can just see those dumb idiots in the back of the class, like just cutting up and shit.
Yeah, so actually,
I love my dumb idiots. I love them.
Akiva and Yorma were in that Spanish class, and Andy was 2 years behind them, but they were all in a skateboard group.
Of course they were.
Yes.
Can I get some pictures? Tweet at us at AdamAndyPod if you've got pictures of young Andy, Akiva, and Yorma skateboarding. I need to see the receipts.
Yes.
I need the receipts. Please send them to me. I need them for research purposes. At AdamAndyPod, I want some pics. I want some pics of the skateboarding group, and I want them now.
Question 2.
Okay, I'm ready.
Who recommended them to Lorne Michaels? A. Bill Hader.
We didn't even talk about his flatliner shit.
Oh my God, the flatline.
When he's like, I like to flatline like once a week. I was like, oh my God, it's basically the same character he played in Hot Rod.
Yes.
When they bring him back to life and he goes, "Did I shit myself?"
She's like, "Not this time."
Okay, sorry. Please continue. Okay, so who recommended? A. Bill Hader. Bill Hader. Okay.
B. Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
C. Tim Meadows.
Oh God.
D. Maya Rudolph. Fun fact: all of those people were in this film.
They were.
Yes. Which one?
Okay, let's see. Lonely Island. I'm gonna strike Tim Meadows from the registry because I think his time with SNL was over. Not that he wouldn't have had Lauren's ear necessarily, but so that leaves us with Maya, Jimmy, and Bill Hader. And I feel like Bill Hader was more of a contemporary of the Lonely Island. So I'm going to go with Jimmy Fallon.
You are correct again. They
I
got a job.
I didn't know this. I'm just like logicking it out.
They got a job at the 2005 MTV Awards. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Fallon was host, and he liked their stuff, and so he talked to Lauren about them, and they got an audition, and the rest is history.
Well, that's awesome. I love it.
Question 3. Last question.
Question 3.
What was their first video that gained them attention? A. Dick in a Box.
Nope.
B. Lazy Sunday.
I think it's that
C. Kablamo. D. The Boo.
Shit. Oh, I'm going to go with my first instinct and say Lazy Sunday.
Incorrect.
Oh!
Kablamo. Which I have seen all of their old stuff, so like I know
Sarah,
what that is.
you're going to have to put together the Lonely Island like appetizer plate for me because I think you're the one who needs to really curate our Lonely Island experience.
Yeah.
Wow, that was super fun. Thanks for stumping me. Now I'm not gonna go watch Kablamo. I'm gonna wait to experience it on the show. I'm gonna wait to experience it on the show.
Oh, you look awesome. Come the fuck upstairs.
Okay.
But wait, I have to warn you about something.
What?
If you come up here, I'm gonna tie you to my bed and keep you for at least 3 days. I'm just in that kind of mood.
Shall we spin the wheel?
Yes, please.
Are you ready to find out what Adam film we're gonna be watching next?
Mildly interested.
You're mildly interested.
Just kidding.
I am. I love to. I mean, I've got some good ones on here, Sarah. I've got some good ones on here. So I'm gonna make sure that I have the right thing up, and I'm gonna share my screen. Here we go. All right. So we have this week on the wheel, While We're Young, which is no Baumbach. Midnight Special, Patterson, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and Tracks.
Never heard of Tracks.
I have not seen several of these. So I think the only one I've seen is Patterson.
Oh.
Okay, so here we go. We're
Do it.
gonna spin the wheel. It's While We're Young. While We're Young,
okay.
which is another Noah Baumbach film. And from what I can tell,
Is it about divorce?
it's about a midlife crisis.
Okay.
So it's in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
I believe Jamie is the character that Adam plays. And Amanda Seyfried is also in this movie. So I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm just going to read off. I'm going to read off the 2014 While We're Young, written and directed by Noah Baumbach. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Stars Ben Stiller, Naomi Watts, Adam Driver, Amanda Seyfried, and a bunch of other people. Okay. A middle-aged couple's career and marriage are overturned when a disarming young couple enters their lives. And that couple is played by Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried.
Are they the same age?
Amanda Seyfried and Adam Driver?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm going to guess probably, yeah.
Okay.
So Naomi Watts and Ben Stiller married, going through some kind of midlife crisis, transformed by meeting some hipsters, basically, is the plot. And I've never seen it. So,
Wow, okay.
So this will be a first for me. This will be a first.
Why does it sound like a horror film to me?
Are you afraid that they're going to get single white femaled?
Maybe.
Well, okay, so there you have it, listeners. That's what we're going to be watching next on the show, While We're Young. We love talking to you guys on social media, so let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know what you think about Popstar. Never stopping. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Adam and Andy Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Adam Andy Pod. At Adam Andy Pod. Sarah, I don't think we're gonna. Are we gonna be? I don't think we're back. I don't know if we're gonna be vaxxed up enough to watch this next film together. I think
not
it'll
yet.
have to
This
be
is gonna
the next
this month, April 22nd.
You're right. That'll be our next recording. So very close, but not quite. So this one we'll just have to watch from afar. But I'm looking forward to it. I've never seen this movie, so we'll see what delights
if it's horror or if it's drama.
I don't think Noah Baumbach does horror. I don't think that's his thing. Unless you find midlife and unless you find middle-aged couples going through a midlife crisis horrifying, which is a bit horrifying for me, frankly, as a person in my middle-aged life.
You're not middle-aged.
I am. I'm literally middle-aged, Sarah.
You're right.
How much longer do you think I'm going to live?
No, forever.
You've only got half my life left with me.
Oh my God.
So we better enjoy it by watching as much Adam and Andy content as we possibly can.
Yes.